Welcome to the X's and Argos film study. I'm Ben Grant. This week we're going to look at how the Toronto Argonauts dealt with blitzes from the defensive secondary in their game against the Montreal Alouettes this past week. So everyone knows the book on McLeod Bethel-Thompson is that he holds onto the ball too long when the coverage changes after he gets his pre-snap read. So last week we saw Ottawa send a ton of heat while disguising their coverage in an effort to confuse him and therefore forcing him to hold on to the ball too long, which leads to sacks, forced turnovers. It didn't work. Macbeth ended up completing 75% of his passes. He threw for 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. But that was Ottawa. This week, Montreal tried their version of the same strategy, blitzing on over 2/3 of Toronto's 62 offensive snaps. But unlike Ottawa, whose pressure came mostly from their backers, Montreal blitzed their defensive backs 10 times. So let's take a look at how Bethel-Thompson, and the offensive line for that matter, dealt with this kind of heat. Argos are in quads right queen, Montreal showing man coverage to the boundary, and it looks like cover 3 hold to the field, and the free safety's just out of the picture. So Wilder Jr. sees the Sam backer creeping in, so he shifts over to King to pick him up. But check this out. So the halfback is coming in too, and the offensive line, the quarterback, running back, they don't see it in time to communicate. I guess they would communicate an out call to the center here. So that means he's going to come in unblocked. The Will books it back to deep middle. The free shifts over to deep field. And the weak half takes deep boundary. So what looked pre-snap like 43 with a Sam Crash hold, man weak, is actually 43 Sam Crash, and we'll call this strike, with like a pseudo rolling cover 3 cut. So the vulnerability is to the quad side here, but Macbeth's brain is on fire, and there's not really like a hot route built into this quads concept. And Bethel-Thompson's got to release the ball right here. But he hesitates. He's probably still taking in what he's looking at. Now, his size allows him to break the tackle of the unblocked strong half. He rolls out and he throws, but by now all the defenders are in position. The Will that was playing deep middle comes up to break up S.J. Green's post curl. So we'll fast forward. This is late in the game now, and this is the exact same defensive play call. It's a better camera angle. You can see the Will taking off to play deep middle, the free rolls to deep third. The difference here is offensive formation. So we're trips right to the boundary. And I'm going to talk about this more in a few plays, but with a halfback blitz like we've got here, I like to look first at the space that's vacated by the blitzing defender. So I would go to Edwards in this case. Now, Bethel-Thompson's play is safe as well. He's seen this defense now. He knows the corner is not going to be able to take both Green and Ralph. So he just waits for Green to sit and then fires the football. Now, we take a look at the line here. So the line picks up the Sam backer, and now, yes, the strong half runs free. No one really touches him, but the timing is left to Bethel-Thompson. That half is coming from a long way away. So Wilder Jr. is hot. If Macbeth doesn't think he has enough time to wait out Green, he can just dump it to Wilder Jr. He's wide open in the flats. And this is exactly what you want to see. So confused him the first time. He had a chance to see the video on the sideline. He figured it out. They call this play later in the game, and Bethel-Thompson calmly makes the play. We can see all 24 in this shot. And there's not a ton going on here. Cover 3 over top is advertised with the corner blitzing from the boundary. The backer comes too, but this is just how they react to the jet motion. This isn't a blitz. And he backs off. The coverage is really good in this play, and the Owls got a little bit lucky. Anytime you call a blitz, you're gambling a bit. And if the offense has a quick hitter to that void that was left by the blitzing player, or if they've got a built-in hot read for this exact situation, then you might give up a big play. But in this case, there's no dagger here from Macbeth. If we're just looking at this play in isolation, just on its own, the correct pass is here to Worthy in the flats just after he clears the blitzing defender. But this is early second quarter. The Argos hadn't taken a deep shot yet in the game. And so I think Bethel-Thompson probably feels everyone's creeping up a little bit. And so airing it out, intentionally overthrowing Edwards into cover 3 is probably more to stretch out the defense, which is going to give him more space to throw later on. So he's sacrificing this play and this down to open up some space for plays later on in the game. From this look, we can see that the blitz is picked up pretty well. Cross steps out to the backer. Ouellette reads inside out. I'd like to see him get a little bit more of a piece there. The protection breakdown is on the blind side, so Richards here lets Fabian Foote get inside, and he takes a shot, which obviously you can't have that happen. It draws a flag, but you just can't let your quarterback take his like that. All right, we're 5 wide, trips to the left, and we're in red alert pre-snap because the free safety, who's been back at 15 or 20 all game, is standing at 10, and he's creeping in. Mac and Sam are showing double A gap, and they both come, and the free is also coming through A gap. So they're in cover 0, and we just don't have enough guys. Now, Bethel-Thompson completes this pass. He's got a great matchup. It's S.J. Green on the Sam, and he gets it out quick, so I'm going to chalk this up as a win. That being said, like I said before, I always like the QB to look first to the area that was vacated by the blitzing player. So in this case, the heat comes almost entirely from the middle. Well, it does come entirely from the middle. And you've got Smith setting a spike release here for Edwards on the slant. I think this is the best read here. All right, let's look at the protection. Montreal has essentially drawn this up like a punt block. So the free comes a little late. So at the snap, the offense believes they've got the numbers to pick this up. The center takes the will, weak side A, and Ouellette comes up to take the Mac. Now, the Mac is supposed to challenge the back's outside shoulder here. He wants to turn him to the outside, and that would allow the free to come through essentially untouched. But Ouellette delivers a crushing block here, and the free doesn't really get through clean. And that allows Bethel-Thompson to make the throw. This is not a good look down here on the bottom. Jamal Campbell is really late out of his stance, and he barely gets a piece of that's Antonio Simmons. Now he's coming in from, let's take a look at this again. He's a really wide stand-up 7. That's a tough block, but you're a right tackle. You got to get a piece of the end. And he barely touches him. Same area of the field, similar formation. We got 5 wide, trips left to the boundary. Bethel-Thompson is great on this play. He sees exactly what's happening, but he doesn't really get any help. So late pre-snap, we've got Sam Crash and the free attacking the weak side A gap. The will drops back deep middle. So when Macbeth sees the Sam coming, he looks immediately to Worthy in the slot here. Worthy has to look back for the ball here. He doesn't. But this is a pretty standard convention. Doesn't matter what offensive system you're in. Usually when the defender in front of you blitzes, you're supposed to look early for the ball. So Bethel-Thompson staring at him. Worthy doesn't check back. Now, Bethel-Thompson knows there's still an opportunity because the middle of the field's a little open. The will drop back. The free's coming in. So it's just a lot of space for the Mac to cover. So SJ's going to sit in the window here. Bethel-Thompson stands in there and gets it to him. So let's look at why there's so much pressure. We've got poor communication on the line here. So they leave the free for Wilder Jr., and he picks him up. Great. So there are a couple ways that we can block this. The center can get an out call, and he can come down and clean out the Sam, which I don't think I've seen the Argos do this year. So the solution has to be that the center takes the 3-tech, right guard takes the end, and then the right tackle steps into the Sam. Instead, our center, McEwen, he's left here with no one to block. And the Sam comes around literally untouched. Luckily, Macbeth is all over this play. Third quarter now, and we get the exact same defensive play call. And again, we get mental mistakes from the receivers and a blown assignment on the offensive line. So Ouellette comes over to King. He'll pick up the Sam blitz. Tackles at the ends, guards have defensive tackles, and McEwen here at center doesn't take anybody, and the free safety just goes running past him. So this is obviously inexcusable. This is a clear, it's a miscommunication. So McEwen's the one with his pants down, but this doesn't necessarily mean it's on him. He sees the free, he's right in front of him. But whatever call was made leaves McEwen believing that either the right guard or the running back is taking the free. So something got mixed up there in the call. Bethel-Thompson does really well to get the ball out. This should be an easy completion, though. So this is 2nd and 5. All receivers, especially knowing there's a blitz coming, should let the sticks determine their break in the route. So 2nd and 5, that means your break is going to be somewhere around that first down marker, about 5 yards into your route. Especially Smith here Smith is running a hook. And both receivers just go too deep. Macbeth expects them to pull up. Smith, Ralph, neither one of them does. And you can see as they're heading back to the bench, he's letting them hear about it, which he should. This is at the very least a teaching moment for Macbeth, and he takes care of it. All right, this play is nuts. Declan Cross is lined up as a tight end on the right. We got trips left. So Montreal sends 8 here. They got all 4 linemen, all 3 backers, and there's a corner blitz coming here too. This is a bust. So the weak half here, he's left to play the difference between Cross here at tight end and Smith on the bottom. Now Cross doesn't have a route, but Reed gets locked in on him. So he's expanding out and he's staring down Cross. He forgets about Smith, who's running absolutely free down the sideline. Now, the only reason this isn't a touchdown is that Macbeth is basically getting hit as he throws here. So he's standing tall in the pocket. Somehow he gets it out to Smith, takes a hit. So we'll take a look here. The corner is going to come in from the edge. We've got a salmon will twist. And the Mac takes the strong side A. So Cross loses the twist here. But the real problem is because of this overload here, the one tech, this is Fabian Foote again. He comes through untouched and just slams into Bethel-Thompson as he releases the ball. So we've got 7 blockers, 8 pass rushers. Someone is going to be unblocked. But under no circumstances should that someone be the 285-pound defensive tackle coming through the A-gap. On a bust like this, you'd like to see your receiver fight a little bit more to stay in bounds. This should be a touchdown. Smith's got to find a way to keep his footing, not drift out of bounds. There's no one around at all. He can come to a full stop, reach out, grab the ball. I know it's easier said than done, but this is a touchdown that essentially gets taken away. Bethel-Thompson is just fearless on this play. Nice quick read, too. That'll do it for this week's edition of the X's and Argos film study. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to go to our website, xsandargos.com, for all the latest news, articles, features, chalk talk, and a lot more. Also, you can check out our podcast on your favorite podcast app, X's and Argos Podcast. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.